Hi, this is the Social Gelo with Angelo show. My name's Angelo. I'm a social scientist, surfer, martial artist, and a whole lot of other things. Coming to you live from Kasai City, Japan, the Social Gelo with Angelo show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Social Gelo with Angelo podcast. I have a very large panel here. This goes under our Kajukenbo method series, where I go over different lineages from different families. And today I have a very large family. The Abad family has joined us. And as you saw in the title, Legacy in Motion, the Women Preserving the Abad Method. We're going to be talking about Shizu Allen Abad and his history and a whole bunch of stuff. It's an informal interview, so who knows what's going to come up, but I'm really looking forward to it. First of all, I want to say thank you to Angie, Alice, Dollie, Girlie, April, Amy, and Ronnie for all coming out and talking about all the history and stuff we're about to cover right now. This is going to be a good one. I'm just going to start this off because Ronnie has questions, and I'm just going to go right over to Ronnie. Ronnie, question time. I'm just gonna go for it, bro.
I don't normally we start with kind of an explanation of the organization and martial arts and all that, but I'm just gonna dig right now just into it for my own personal information, because I don't know, and I'm sure the girls know because obviously you guys are family. But I wanted to hear like the early days, but not just the early days, but the when Girlie and Alan met, or your history of being together, because I'll just say it right now. Abad's martial arts international. It's worldwide. It's international. But I just feel like without Girlie, the organization wouldn't be what it is today. I mean, because when I was a kid, I mean, she was it. I mean, Alan was it, but Girlie was the person that I don't want to say to be feared, but she was the the first strongest woman that I had ever met, and not just strong, but I was afraid of her when I was a kid. But I just curious. I'd love to hear the story of were you guys high school sweethearts? Were you guys just friends growing up? If you could just start there, I guess, where you guys met, and then how Kajukenbo came into play, and we'll go from there, and then I'll kind of butt in with if there's any questions for that. So
well, let me begin by, we were very young. I was 16, and Alan was 21. And so I think we got married at 18, and we had Angie at 17. So we started very early. I didn't know martial arts before I met him, but he has always been into martial arts. So
Okay.
many of the first people that I've known him to train under, I've met and never knew who they were. I've met them, but I didn't know who they were because I wasn't in that circle at the time. So by the time I got into that circle was when we moved to San Diego, and then he opened up a school at Chula Vista, and we were living out there. And then that's where I started in the garage. We had a garage training, and at first it was just family, the men in the family. I was the only girl, and so that's where we started, in the garage. And then, and personally, the only reason why I did it was because, I would never see him. He was always training. So that's the reason why I got into it. And then by the time Angie was 4 or 5, I was officially I got involved to where when he started on base on, oh gosh, what is that base that he was on? The first base he was, no.
Uh, Point Loma or
Miramar.
Point Loma?
Point Loma? That was Miramar.
No, Point Loma was the first one. That's when he was training the SEAL team. And that's when, is it Silver Beach? What is that, Long Beach? Is it that long beach in San Diego. Is it called Silver Beach? Silver something? Does
No.
anybody remember it? Mm. But it is by Point Loma. That's what I'm trying to remember. But it was on the base in a little shack with colonels. There was one guy was a colonel. One guy was what was he? Um, what do you call those people? Special forces.
Was it
Um,
because you said SEAL team? So he was
SEAL team,
training.
yeah,
He was
SEAL
training
team.
Navy SEALs in, right?
Yeah, Navy SEALs. There was maybe 7 of us when I was the only girl, and I distinctly remember the lights went out one night when we were training, and so he made us train in the dark with a candle, and that's when I broke my wrist on somebody's elbow. So so the training was hard back then, but I guess that's where I get not my harshness. I don't want to say harshness, but my training of being strict because he was strict on me. And then we evolved not so hard after that. It was hard, but not as hard as when he first started. Like everything else, it kind of um, the strictness is still there, the mind is still there, but people change, and so the training has to change with it. We can't hurt. The colonel that was there, um, when we went into that little pub, when we were training in that little pub, we went into like a handball court. The colonel managed to get us into a handball court. And now there was outside students and military. But one day, you know how we all get into a circle, not a circle this time, we're just in line, and he's punching everybody. Well, he ripped the colonel's spleen, and so um, and we used to just take it, but I mean, back then there was no insurance. Nobody cared if you got hurt. If you got hurt, you got hurt, and you just moved on. And that's kind of how it was back then. Can't do that now. And as time evolved, you just kind of don't go there anymore. So after that, Ellen did not do as that kind of training as he did with the SEALs team and the early guys that used to come. Again, I was the only girl, so he didn't pull no punches because he wanted to, what is that word?
Make an example.
Make an example of women who can do this. But see, the thing about that is you can do that to me in training, but when we come home, the boss is me. Just saying, just saying. And that was the early days. And then it changed, and
Okay.
then by the time my girls already got there.
Yeah. And you said you didn't start training till later, but the hula you started hula though? You were doing hula before you did the martial arts?
No, I did
No?
martial arts first. See, I
Oh, okay.
I didn't I didn't go to work till I didn't drive and go to work till I was 35. So from the time I got married till the time I was 35, I did not work and I did not drive. So when I was 35, I said, this is my passion and I'm going to go do it. And so 35 is when I started hula.
Okay.
And that became my passion. I never forgot my martial arts because I use it sometime on my hula, the guys anyway. Um, just trying to teach them where the strength comes from when I want them to do certain hulas. And then they're like, oh my God, I can't lift my hand. I can't do, and I know they're looking at me like she's so small, but why can't I push her? So I know my martial arts never left me, but it really helps in my hula.
Mm,
So yeah,
okay.
that was the
Yeah,
fact.
you're saying that you were the only woman, only female. Um, when Did you run? Well, you must have run into other female martial artists. I guess I would call them female pioneers in Kajukenbo. Is there anything you can tell us about there? Were there females? Who were some of the early, if you can remember? I know that was a long time ago, but any
No, I
females?
didn't know anybody until
No.
about when we started going to tournaments, and that was in the 80s. And then I met Sifu Janice, and then a while after meeting her, I met Sifu Rhonda, but that was way after my training in the early times in 73, 74.
Mm-hmm.
So by the 80s is when I started meeting them, and I only met them through tournaments. I didn't know there were other women, but in the early days there was two girls that we had, and then from the two girls evolved to six girls by the time we moved to Miramar. That was in the 80s though.
Mm-hmm.
But the only one I first ever knew of was Sifu Janice.
Okay.
And I met her because of Alan. Alan somehow, Chief Al. Chief Al was the one that kind of got us all together. And then I finally went to her school and stuff. So she was the first martial artist I ever knew. And the story that I knew about her was that she came in the news, and some guy tried to rape her, and she knocked the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And it all over the news in San Diego that a woman, took out this guy when he tried to rape her. So just goes to show you. And I was scared of her because she was like this really, she was really stocky and heavy built. I mean, I know if some guy got hit by her, they definitely would have gone down.
She told me when she was younger she was a power lifter.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
know
know
her
that.
powerlifting. I only knew
Mm-hmm.
her after when she was teaching in at her house. So yeah, but that's how I heard about her, and then I finally met her, and then we became really good friends. She really took care of me. She really did as a woman.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, this next question, I don't want to hog all the questions, but this question I'd like to know about um, black belt promotions, both yours and Alan's. But I'd like to start with your promotion. I'm sure it was brutal. I mean, only woman. Um, what can you tell us about, if you can remember, details of your promotion? I've heard stories through the years, but you know, I'd like to
You
hear
know,
it
my,
again, I guess.
my promotion was really with Shijo. So Shijo was the one that promoted me. And when he came down, I was a brown belt, and we was in a garage, and there was this Japanese guy, tall Japanese guy, I forgot his name, really big built, and CJ was like really pushing, and it's not like how we did promotions, like pen and paper, you do it in front of there's certain things we want you to do. It was more like he made us get in there, and he made us fight, and then he made us do our forms, but not like with paper and pencil. It wasn't like that back then. It was more like it's all out, and you do what you do, and whatever happens happens. If you get hurt, you get hurt, and you never complain, basically.
I'll be your commentary on your promotion. Your
There it
original
is.
your original certificates. I'll be
Okay.
your commentary with pictures.
Do you have a date on that? Does it have a date?
Yes.
What year was
My mom got her second degree on May 5th, 1980. And then it didn't say where you got your first degree, Mom, and then I think a few years, like in 1992, she received her sixth degree black belt on October 29th. So, and then I have all my dad's original certificates all signed by Zhizu Allen, which is kind of cool to have, to be able to keep all those things, good
Well,
history.
I'm glad you told me. Because I mean it's been a while back, but that
Mhm.
it wasn't like how we decided to hold promotions. All I know is that night I cracked somebody's this tall Japanese guy. I got so scared that I cracked his cup. And so, by that time, it said, okay, you pass. No, but I did get a black belt. I don't think so. I was a first degree black belt, but that promotion was me getting my black belt from Shijo.
So there wasn't a. I mean, you were the only female at the time,
I was the
at that
only
test.
female that tested. Hmm.
Did
Okay,
you
so
did
so
you
you
hurt some man, Mom? Did you like
I
kick the
did.
world out of some people, or did they
I
like rough you up, like pull your hair, and did you
No,
throw
no,
them
no.
against?
The only one that did that to me was Shijo himself.
Mm,
He didn't let anybody else touch me, but he himself touched me. So that was the difference. Um, when Sijo did it to me, he manhandled me, but nobody else did.
mm.
He was the one that personally um, did me that way, and that was when he told me how to use different things, books, pencils, um, keys. That was all the time that he kind of taught me this is what you can use and do this and do that. And it's like, but I was the dummy for him. But what he was trying to tell me was that you, if I don't do it to you, then you'll never know how it feels if a man does it to you. But yet the other students couldn't. They grab me, they can throw me, but they couldn't grab me like he did. He grabbed me like a rapist would grab you, and then that kind of clicked things in my head that never left me. That I would like see red if anybody grabbed me like that, I would see red. So that was what we tried to do with the girls going forward without being so brutal as he was. But I knew what he wanted. I just I didn't do so not like him. But then we started to tell the guys that they actually have to grab them and push them and lift them and whatever they now put them up in the corner. Those are the things that came after. But for me, um, the only thing that the guys would be able to do was like pick me up or throw me down, but never to grab me like if somebody on the streets was gonna rape you.
So he was basically just trying to make a sense of realism, I guess it sounds like. Make it as
Yeah,
real as possible, but in a
as
controlled
real as
environment. But today, I don't think we could get away with something like that in the studio. No, definitely not. I mean, times have changed.
times have changed.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, Angelo, what you got? I'm not going to hog this interview.
No, 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 no. If you have, I told you,
No.
any questions you got, man, you throw them out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just got like the personal questions. You could put it in perspective, a timeline. I mean, I guess I got one more question I could ask, and then I'll let Angelo kind of put us on track as far as the timeline. You know, another person I'd like to hear the story about when you guys met Gary Forback, because I've heard different versions. Um,
Oh,
about how he came, how you basically him and Alan came together, and
yeah.
just from your perspective, if you could let us know, what you remember on how that happened. I mean, it was I'll just say it. I this is what I heard. Maybe it was just rumors that when Alan came to San Diego, that they had heard that he was a Kajukenbo man was in San Diego, so I'm not sure if this is accurate. The Antidici brought Gary down, and was there a challenge or something, or that they met and they had him do something, and then they saw him move, and they're like, oh no, yeah, he's Kajukenbo. I don't know how accurate that is, or if that even
Um,
happened.
well, they met way before I met them.
Okay.
Yeah, they met. Remember now, I was having kids. So in between when I was having kids and not able to go, Alan did go to all the tournaments, but it was afterwards that I met them when they all did with Sijo. When they all met up with Sijo and Auntie Dichi is when I came into like I don't know what child I had because my last child was 1980. So right after that, I think is when he met Sifu Gary.
No, I
And they
think mom, what he's talking about is like when dad came, he was already a brown belt. And then he wanted to train in the garage. And I have a picture of you and dad in the garage.
yeah.
And
But
Auntie
Sifu Gary wasn't.
Dichi
Oh
came
yes.
with Sijo and
Yeah.
Parado. And I think it was Uncle Gary that came to see like who is this Filipino guy claiming Kajukenbo. So that is a true story, from what I heard too, my recollections.
I had
Um,
heard that Alan was he training with Mr. George Mickey, Mr. Mickey and Mira Mesa? I had heard that he was
yeah, I
helping them
have.
or
I don't, yeah, because he wanted to, when they were training in the garage, he was just telling us that he didn't, because he had met Sijo after that, but I think it was George Mickey in the beginning. So there's pictures of you guys in the park, him in the park with Auntie Janice and Uncle Gary, Reinhardt. So I think that was all before like 76 or 77. So you're right. My mom was pregnant, so she probably wouldn't had known too much, you know, until after the 80s. So even though she was training, we were still only little. But I have all this like picture timeline. I'm sure, mom, your memory is not like. Oh, she's on the phone.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, because I got a lot of questions now. Uh,
yeah.
and any of y'all can just jump in and answer these as we go. So I'm gonna do a quick. We'll do a quick fire timeline because I have. There's a lot of stuff that happened there, and I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the story going on, so I didn't ask. That's why I didn't say anything. So I guess my first question is when I look at the Kajukenbo tree, there's a very long name that I cannot pronounce, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it. Who trained Allen Abad first in Hawaii? It says Allen Abad got his basics from. I don't even want to try to butcher that.
Larry something. Larry.
Larry Kava'a.
There it is.
Yes.
Kava'aho.
Yes.
Okay, see,
Yes.
I can't say
Yes.
that. Cool, perfect.
Uh,
I can't pronounce
so
that.
yeah,
So
Walter Iona was his judo instructor,
Yeah.
and then Ernest Rodriguez, Larry Kava'aho, and then Masitoto was all his Kempo and Kajukenbo instructors.
oh, okay, because on the tree it says that name right there gave me
Mhm.
Kajukenbo basics. Do you know when that was?
Um,
I know it was in Hawaii, but there's like
he was pretty young. I have a picture of him. Look that up. Mom, oh, you probably wouldn't know, huh, Mom?
That was before mom.
it could
So
be a decade. It could be like 50s, 60s. It doesn't have to be like a specific date.
That was all before me. So if anything, it would
it's
have been um, so I met him in 72. So go back
60s.
10 years because he was training when he was young.
All right, so 60s, like about the 60s.
Yeah. Early,
Mhm.
I think he was saying early 60s.
And then Girlie, with your timeline, when did you come to San Diego?
72.
72. Okay, so you
72.
came to 72. And then when did Sijo train? And there was a little bit mentioned right now. There was like a little bit of questions, like there was a challenge, or they were checking who Antidici was involved somehow. When did Sijo end up training with Alan? Or have you all known Sijo the whole time? I guess what's your relationship with Sijo and how did that come about? That's my question.
Let me see. Sijo came, it's got to be in the 80s
In the 80s. Okay.
because Sijo came It was after I had all my kids already. So it has to be in the 80s. And when he came with Auntie Dichi.
Okay.
That's what I do remember. And that's how I met both of them. And then we became really close. And then Ciju started really depending on Alan to like create, to he from what I can remember, he really took to Alan. So Angie made 16. What year did you make 16, Angie?
88.
88. So by 88, they were already trying to like really, really, really
Locked down the belt system,
yeah, lock down.
and but that was already in 84 is when that happened.
Yeah,
So
so
that was way before.
they were already close already. They were way too, I
Because
mean,
Kajukenbo wasn't as big yet. So Sijo wanted someone to help him get past what happens if everyone gets past the fifth degree. Then what's gonna happen next? So that's when my dad created the belt system for him. And that's what we use as Kajukenbo today. So in 1984, he gave a sketch to Sijo, and Sijo approved that. And I think a lot of people had asked that question, like who created the belt system? And uh, I don't know who said otherwise, but we my dad would
Don't we have
uh,
the sketches?
yeah, I have all the sketches. So he wrote this down in 1984, and it says, "This is the ranks I came up with for Professor Imperato. I know Kajukenbo does not have ranks, only up to 6th degree, but we are using Chinese system ranking. I don't know if this will be for Kempo or Kung Fu in the Kajukenbo system. I hope it'll work." And then that's when all of the drawings came about. So these are all original drawings.
Okay.
And then my dad was such an artist that he would create these books, and he would draw, what the belt system would look like, right? And then and then that's how it is today. Like this is the original from what is it, fifth degree all the way to grandmaster. But it says Sijo Gold Line. So these are all original drawings from him, and it was dated back in September 1984. So it's kind of cool, to try to, you know, to see all these things and what he did for, Kajukenbo, and how we still use those belt systems today. So
Didn't dad fly to Hawaii to go deliver that to Sijo at the
um
time?
there's a lot of copies made, and then just stuff back and forth from Sijo to dad, um, saying, yes, this is how it's
yeah,
gonna go, and what that would look like. I mean, it was like the crane style, snake style. He did a lot of things that we don't use that in the Kajukenbo system, but he was just coming up with ideas. So that's why I think my mom was saying that he was so close to my dad, because my dad was such an innovator, not only in Kajukenbo but in his movement. So you have Kajukenbo, and then you have the way my dad moved. So it looks a little bit different because I think Sijo saw in him the innovation in the style, because he's always thinking. My dad was always thinking about what it would look like on the street, what it would look like for a girl, a guy, any size. He didn't care. So I think that's why Sijo was so close to him.
And
Just say.
this segues me to the next question that I had. I did a podcast with Rick Kinji and his instructor Carlos Bunda.
Bunda.
Okay.
Uncle Carlos Bunda,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, cool. I said his name right. Woo. All right, so all right, so and he told me off camera, and I hope I don't get in trouble for stuff people say to me off camera. And I'm not going to go into details. Just going to say that I heard, allegedly, I'm using legalese here, that there was a connection between Gary Forbach, James E. Brow, Shizu Allen Abad, and Sijo, And the story that I heard was that Shizu asked Allen to help Fourback with his kung fu, and Fourback was going. They worked together, and it had something to do with the video series. And I'm gonna let that go right there because you can't take anything I say as facts, and that's why y'all are here. So I'll let you go.
But I think that was two different styles because Uncle Gary learned kung fu and wushu, right? Mom, you guys all had the wushu, Beijing wushu team. You guys all learned, and then that's how you guys all came together. That's why there's a connection between Uncle Gary, Sifu, Jamesy Brow, Dad, Mom, because then that's when we started all doing wushu at such a young age. So I mean that is true. I think that's a true story.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I guess my question is, that was around the same time they made the video, that video series, because Alan's in that video series, the not the Century one, but the one that's now as the official. Like, if anybody asks about the official Kajukenbo curriculum, they're brought to this DVD series, and this I can say on camera. Fourback won't get upset because he tells me this all the time. Don't buy the Century one. He got screwed over by the Century people. Make sure you buy the DVD set from him, or now he's got links.
Yeah.
There is his disclaimer for him. But yeah, that's my question, because I know Alan's in them, and that's the official one. People ask me, "Oh, who's your instructor?" I'm like, "Oh, he's in the DVD series. That's him right there. Like, he's right there." So, like, how did that happen? Is always my question. Like,
oh man, we weren't in. We knew that Dad went to Sacramento like every weekend, and did like a series with like what is his name, Grandmaster James Joe Stubbs. Is that his name? Yeah, yeah. I think he's in the video. And yeah, so we weren't like around then. Like, the question that you should ask, or who you should ask, would probably be Uncle Gary, because he has everything. I mean, videotaped. You know what I mean? He's got like all of the documentations of that. So
I think that's what that during that time, that's what they were collaborating with. So they were tight in that way, and in collaborating this series that they wanted to make and kind of make it official. Not that we knew about it, but we didn't participate. Him and Gary. Sifu Brao came in the picture only with Wusu and Kung Fu. And that's where we all get together as not teaching each other, because we learned from Roger Tong. We learned Roger Tong Wusu, and then Sifu Brao started, coming in and helping all of us, be stronger in our kung fu, and then made us really strong. And we traveled. Let me tell you, we traveled a lot doing wusu with Sifu Brao. So Gary, me, Alan, and two other Chinese guys went with Roger Tong. So, and Rhonda, we were all in there learning wusu. But if that's what you're asking, that's how we all got together, learning from Roger Tong, and helped each other training-wise to keep up with Roger. That's that part.
And that was in 80s, 90s?
I think it was
that had been 80s.
It was the
It had
80s.
been 80s, because we were me, Julie, and
83, 84.
we were young.
Yeah.
Because we were already training at like 5, 7 years old. Wushu. Yeah.
And you guys sent didn't you send a team to China to go train? Roger took you guys. Who was it that went to China?
Oh,
I know Rod.
Uncle Rod.
Dennis Beato.
And some other people from.
Didn't some of the Navaltas go too? The Navaltas went, right? Didn't Tony go?
I don't remember.
For some reason I thought some of the Navaltas went.
No, that's when Mom them took all of us to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Didn't Mark Boree go?
No.
He didn't go to China?
I think it was only two. It was only Uncle Ron and Dennis, but everybody went to Hawaii. Mom them took us to Hawaii.
we all went to Hawaii with Roger Tong to demonstrate Wushu. We was trying to promote Wushu because not very many states, would see what Wushu was all about. And Roger Tong wanted that. And so between Gary and us, we kind of joined our schools and went to Hawaii to do demonstrations. Chinatown, my old high school. So, so that part is where I think when you say we helped each other, that's what we helped each other with, is with the Wushu part of the martial arts.
Okay. And then Dollie. Sorry, I think
He's all Helen Joyce.
Helen Joyce. The you showed a black belt certificate and you were saying and then maybe you can verify this. So he got his black belt certificate and his test was through Shizu, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
so all the way till his 7th degree, all the way up to his 9th, he got it's all notaried by or signed by Shizu.
Okay. All right. So like again, this clears up like what I see on the tree, because I know if anybody, and I know the tree is a completely other podcast. I'm not going to go there right now. One day on a different time when I have more time, I'm going to talk about the tree. But I've talked about the tree before, but what's happening with the tree now is I don't want to go there. Anyway, so so they have a tree, and I was talking to Ronnie about this. Because we were having a conversation, because he clarified something about the tree recently that I didn't even notice. It's got like the original box in the middle of all of Shizu Imperado's black belts, and then there's a line, and I never noticed this before till he told me. There's a line that goes off to the corner, and then it says others, and there's another box of a bunch of other black belts, and Alan's in there, and I didn't notice before till he mentioned it to me. Like, oh, okay, what is? And he's like, there's another box. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So if you have the tree of any type, it shows it that there's another box, and Alan's there, and if I'm following this timeline correctly. And then I wrote this down to keep this up, just as a bullet points. We had 60s. He gets his basics in Hawaii, and then he's in San Diego around the 70s. If I'm following this thing correctly, 80s or maybe late 70s, Shizu and him start working together. What year did he get that black belt?
So he got his first degree black belt May 24th, 1976.
1976. All right, good. Okay. That's better than saying late 70s. So 1976, he got his black belt from Shizu, and then things keep moving forward.
Yep.
You girls are generationally coming into this story around that same time. You joined the Wushu team around the early 80s, if I'm following this story correctly. You all start working together with, I know, Gary Forback, James Brown. You mentioned some other names earlier. And now you have the Wushu team that is now competing, I'm guessing, internationally. Did I get that right?
No.
Nationally.
No, we never made a team.
Never made a team. Okay, all right.
Yeah, we never made a team. We just wanted to promote Wushu.
Okay.
When Roger Tong came into the picture, we wanted to promote. But there was 2 students, Rod and Bito, who really wanted to learn Wushu. And so they went to Beijing, China, with a team, some of Sifu Gary's. If I'm not mistaken, some of Sifu Gary's student went, and so Dennis Bito, and Rod went with them, and they went to Beijing. I don't know, for a long time. It seemed like.
And they were part of the team then. So, but they're still from your branch. That's your student. Those were Alan's students. His black belts went to go compete with Gary, and that's the team I'm connected to. Okay, now, all right.
So when they went to Beijing, that was for training.
Okay.
It wasn't for competition.
Oh,
they went to Beijing for training. So they all were trained by the masters of Wushu.
Okay.
So, but I think they had to stay there more than 2 weeks. And I think Gary went with them too.
Okay.
He took a bunch of people to Beijing to train,
Okay.
is what they did, not to compete.
Not to
They
compete.
did the competition, I think, at the end of their training. They had to, they had to, I don't know if they compete, but I know they had to demonstrate what they learned, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Okay. Now we're getting close to our wrap up, and before I wrap up, what I will, I guess, and this is not really a final question, it's kind of an open-ended question. Um, it's a lot happened. I don't want to say what happened next because I gotta be careful of my wording here. I guess what I want to know is how how did the legacy continue? Like, so, so this is the legacy, and right, this is all the contributions he made to the belt system and everything else. But now, obviously, through you, and I guess so we don't end up being here for another hour.
Yeah.
The easiest way I'd like to do is maybe just have you each a quick comment on how the training impacted your life and what, and I know this, I got to be careful how much I load into the question because but I guess what I want to know is how did the training impact your life and how has it helped you now? I guess that's the question really, is how did the training, how did growing up like that impact your life? And I'm sorry to load you with something that I'm sure all of you can spend an hour explaining that question, but if you could, I want to give you all a little bit of talk time because so far I've only, no offense, I've talked to Girlie and Dollie and I still haven't talked to the rest of you. So I kind of want to give you all like a minute or so to just kind of explain how the training impacted you and any message you have for the Kajukenbo community is really what I'm trying to get, because we're going to get to the wrap up. So I'm going to have you all talk and then I'm going to wrap it up. And if there's anything on your chest that you want to say, now is the time to say it. And it's not a forever hold your peace kind of thing, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So like, I'm going to go ahead and say that. And I'm going to start with I'm going to start with, okay. Yeah. Let's start with
No,
the
we'll start
oldest.
with the oldest.
Let's start with the oldest.
I'll start with the youngest. Hurry up, Kahel.
All right. So I don't know who the oldest is.
No, we'll start with the youngest.
Start with the
Who do you,
youngest.
April?
Okay, we'll start with
April's
the youngest. Okay, April starts then. All right, April, go. I wonder if she heard the question.
She heard it. We can't hear.
Can't hear.
Trying to figure out how to.
Unmute.
Just gotta hit the speaker button.
Speaker.
Yeah, we practiced this. Not yet.
Yes.
Okay, you unmuted me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Say that again. Oh, what?
Oh, how?
Basically, what my parents taught me.
Yeah. How does that? How did that impact your life and how and what message do you have for the Kajukenbo community? I guess that's the last question I have.
Discipline. Basically, and knowing how to fight when there needed to be a fight.
The whole nother podcast.
Sorry. And I could say my work ethic. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So martial arts goes all in different ways.
All right. Y'all know your pecking order here, so I'm gonna. So who's next? I guess by age, I don't know.
Oh, from youngest to oldest?
Yeah, I guess that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm the fourth daughter.
All right.
You can mute me now.
Okay.
I don't know
You can. Yeah. Let's see. How did the training impact my life? Wow. I think for me, it has helped me become more confident. I know, like my mom said, being a girl in the martial arts, and we were kind of scrawny back then, like real skinny and stuff. But I think our bark was bigger than our bite until we started to learn martial arts and really, having strict parents, and then eventually me learning not only from my mom and dad, but then going into the kung fu part with Sifu Brao. I think that built my confidence in the way that I teach not only martial arts, but self-defense and hula. And so I think, now going into our 50s, we just implement it in all areas of our life, right? The way that we raise our kids, the way that we, treat our family. Dad was really a big part of our lives, along with my mom's training. Like Professor Ronnie said, she was really strict. That carried on outside of karate. And I think with that, like April said, our discipline in what we do in our lives as far as our work ethics go, I think we just carry that everywhere. We're a busy family, and I'm sure you can see it on Facebook. We, busy is a blessing, and I'm sure our age lines are showing now. But I think with that mindset as a martial artist, that strength that we have, we push through. We were built tough. I think we were built different, you know, and I think that's all because of the training of my mom and dad. So it's a good legacy. We're a little bit softer on our kids, but hopefully I'll train my little one to be just as tough as we were. So yeah, so stay strong and have discipline and have courage, be brave, just keep on doing what you're doing.
All right. Who's next? Okay. There's a speaker button right there. If it's not showing, you just touch your
Do
phone.
we tell our age? Like, should we say our ages?
That is up to you. I'm not. That is up to you. I'm not gonna. You can do whatever you like. If you want to. If you
It's
do, you
Amy's
can.
birthday
If you want.
yesterday.
Oh, okay.
She just turned 50. So
Happy birthday.
They're not gonna believe it. You don't look 50.
we're all 2 years apart.
Yeah, so I know I was thinking about turning 50, and I always go back to my dad and mom, like, what were they doing at 50? And they were still moving, like, I believe my dad was still training. So a lot of that sticks in my head that, just because I'm 50, I need to like just not do anything. But what I learned is a discipline. I was more of an observer, watching my parents. So a lot of the wisdom that when I would watch him teach, I would, is ingrained in my head. I mean, he had always great analogies, for life lessons and everything like that. So I think a lot of that and how they taught people and how to, that helps too in the workforce, how to explain things, he was really good at it, I have to say. Always in awe by it. So it's a discipline, how he spoke, how he was able to connect everything to every aspect somehow, always in awe of that. But yeah, the greatest thing is he always said to keep moving, if you're not in pain, you're not living, it's just, it just stuck in my head, on those things. So yeah, I miss him, but yes.
All right.
So that would be me.
Okay, that would be you. All right.
Well, I'm Alice. And I'm what am I? Am I 52? I'm 52. I guess growing up, watching my mom and my dad and just wanting to be like them. You couldn't act out what you were doing. You literally was going through them. You were literally getting hit. You're literally getting punched or slammed or whatever. I remember always the stretching and how we used to do all of that. And we played games. I really enjoyed whatever the circle game we did in karate. I actually did that circle game in high school with all the people in my group. The discipline was really hard, where we were taught not to be shy, and to just do what you need to do. Because if you're shy, you're not going to be heard. And just like Dollie said, we may look pretty, but once you get us mad, that's another different story. So, and nobody really wanted to get there. I don't think anybody really got there with us. And I think it's just because we hold ourselves accountable for what we do. And that's what my mom and my dad bestowed upon us. Um, and, you know, I guess being strong in whatever we do and the discipline we have at work with our kids, with how we speak to others. Um, when we train other people, now that we're all in like a management position or a teaching position, we take what my mom and my dad taught us and what we saw when they taught their students, we automatically have that in us. So I think that aspect of learning and understanding and being able to carry on what they did with us to our kids and now our grandkids. So, and then listen with the look and the finger, that's it.
And then this one's easy because it's the last one. So, Angie, what do you got to say?
Oh shoot. Can you hear me? Oh, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Um, I'm 53. Okay. Um, looking back, so I think for me, looking back and being inspired by mom and dad, I don't think I would ever. I it never even popped in my head that I would be in the relationship married with my husband, who's also a martial artist. Because I remember back then, dad said, do not marry a martial artist. You guys are not allowed to be with any martial artists. And so now being with my husband, and I remember calling mom and I said, wow, now I know how hard it was for you and dad. Not only did I have all five of us, but then to run a school, take care of the families and make sure everyone's, pono with everybody. I think watching them and remembering how they raised us, going to tournaments, making sure everything is good, it helped Jason and I, with raising Kamaka, running our own school, going to the tournaments. And that was my favorite part of growing up with mom and dad was we went to the tournaments, and competing was like you were in a fight with yourself and nobody else. So competing more helped me come out of my shell. And, I'm not going to lie, when I was doing good, I was like big headed and everything. And then I got shot down really quick. But then I remember dad saying, sometimes that happens and that's a lesson you learn. And what you do with it is going to help you in the long run. And it has. It's helped us raise Kamaka and the rest of the students who are really good under us. So it's inspiring to look back on our past with mom and dad and say, wow, everything they've taught us. And then looking at my sisters and, because they raised us different. Mom she raised me different from how she raised Dollie or Amy or Kahea. I was the firstborn. So I was just thinking, mom, how you said, Joe manhandled you all. I was the firstborn. My mom manhandled me.
You were the guinea pig.
So
we learned from you what not to do.
Yep, exactly. So it's good to see the difference, how we were all raised, but how it worked out for each one of us. Because now we're teaching each other even throughout our lives. So, and it's a lot to do with mom keeping us together.
Can I sum this all up for you?
Thank you. I don't know. Thank you. Making my job easier. All right.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I want to say is that Alan was a humble man, number one. And all my children are humble. And everybody knew him for that. And that's the reason why people gravitated to him, because he was a very humble man. And number two, he was talented. He was very talented. I, I, I'm not as talented as him. What I got from him, I can patent.
Yeah.
He was a creator. So between him being humbleness, which people gravitated to, talented, which people envied, and creativeness is what I could patent for him. Because he's so creative, he wants to change things all the time. I patent it for him. And that's where the strictness came from. And that's how the students learn, because he can create, and then you tell him, okay, do it again. It'll be all completely different. But I could patent that for him. But it's hard to match how humble he was, and how talented he was, and how creative he was. He could take any situation, self-defense situation on the street, and make it work. And that's what people really looked at him for. To sum him up, that's where my daughters, they have all of this. They have the humbleness, they have the talent, and they're creative. I, on the other hand, still patent things. So yeah, that's my summons of my daughters and what Alan had left in this family. His legacy. You can see it in their daily lives. And the number one thing is his faith. He was a Buddhist from beginning to end. So yes, that's our podcast.
Well, before I wrap up, I only have 2 self-portraits of martial artists in my dojo, as far as like photos of just a martial artist. One of Shizu, and right next to him, Shizu Allen Abad. For what it's worth, that's who's on my wall, and that's who I talk about to my students in Japan. So your impact is felt internationally, and Roddy, any last words, Ronnie?
Yeah, you know what? I'll just go ahead and end this because I can talk. I mean, I can talk and talk and talk. I'm just gonna say, because everything that everyone said, I totally agree with. The discipline, the training, all of that. But the one thing that I'd say made a big impact, everything has. The one thing that I'll say here, this will be the last thing that I say, that Alan had said that I took to heart was, be the best human being that you can be. And that's our goal as a martial artist. It's not to kick somebody's ass. It's not to be the best MMA fighter or jiu-jitsu or whatever. It's to be the best person, best human that you can be. And through the years, you go through phases, and Girlie even said about, you have to change your training, you have to adapt. And I know that firsthand because I got sick and paralyzed and went through all that stuff. But besides that, you're getting older, you're getting wiser, you move differently, you think differently. I don't think the same way that I thought before. But that one thing that he said about being the best human being, that just sticks with me with everything, because it's not just martial arts. It just says life, as people. So I think that would be my message for the whole Kajukenbo community. If you guys are watching this, let's be the best human beings that we can be. And think about what we can do together. We're so much stronger than if we try to compete with each other and try to outdo each other or whatever's, through the years, it goes up and down. I know we have our difficulties through the years. If you've been in this long enough, you see history repeat itself over and over. But the bottom line is, we all we're martial artists, we're martial
Mhm.
arts instructors. We have to set the example, and let's just be the best people that we can be. And I love you guys. I
We
do.
love
We
you
love
too.
we love you
I
too,
love you
Ronnie.
guys.
Too, Ronnie.
Love you too, Ronnie.
Thanks for
Well,
letting me be a part of this too. You didn't have to have me here, but I do appreciate it. I really do.
well, I want to thank roll call again, Angie, Alice, Dollie, Girlie, April, Amy, and Ronnie for all coming out and sharing their stories. And thank you, the listener, for checking out another episode of Social Gelo with Angelo podcast. One of these once a week. Catch y'all next time.
Aloha.
Aloha.
This has been a Social Gelo production. If you're interested in being on the show, feel free to reach out. Just email me at socialgelo@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Instagram, Social Gelo, Facebook, Social Gelo with Angelo, or follow me on my personal page under Angelo Ferrer. LinkedIn, search Angelo Ferrer. YouTube, if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Social Gelo with Angelo YouTube channel. And wherever you're listening, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other platform, make sure to follow and subscribe and leave a review. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next time.